Speaker, it is indeed a pleasure to rise and speak once again in this House on the matter of alcohol over Easter. Just this time it includes a couple of extra days. Madam Speaker, the honourable member that spoke previously also talked about a bill that has previously been voted down in this House and that the ACT Party and myself as a sponsoring member thought would achieve great things in this country, allowing people to trade and consume alcohol over Easter in a way they see fit and to address some of the issues that the honourable member who just spoke mentioned. One of the issues he said was visitors come to New Zealand, they're surprised they can't get a drink. Well, they're also extremely shocked when they find out that this particular town or that particular town has got closed shops and that workers have been forced not to work because of the blangers. Madam Speaker, I'm sorry I missed that heckle, but it's a great. But I'm very interested, Madam Speaker, in the lobbying efforts from the honourable member who's just resumed his seat. His lobbying efforts, I must say, I didn't see come to my office. Did they come to anyone? No, the ACT Party didn't get it. I guess they just thought, you know, a party like ACT that believes in freedom and choice will just support such a bill. But then again, Mr. Speaker, I guess maybe he just thought, look, the lobbying's already been done. There's been a hard-working and humble member of this House that's been out meeting people in the community, workers who want to be able to have the choice, people who are getting sick of the problems that come with, as the honourable member mentioned, the issues that come with a different type of rule regime for some specific days of the year. Madam Speaker, a humble and hard-working MP of this House has been out in the regions, different parts of the country, gathering support for a change like this, engaging, Mr. Speaker, with the interested parties, representative bodies, peak bodies of industry which are affected, talking to workers, hearing the stories, Mr. Speaker. So I suppose the lobbying efforts from the honourable member who's just resumed his seat weren't required in that regard. Mr. Speaker, I will be supporting this bill. It is a conscience vote. Oh, I'm sorry, was that not made clear enough for the members on the other side? No, I will be, Mr. Speaker, I'm just pulling out my phone for a moment because, you know, I just wanted to read something from the Hansard. It's kind of interesting because what we had was some members make some contributions that, you know, we'll just put it out there and read what it is. This is from the Hansard. Referring to my speech around the Easter trading bill, he talked about the issue of a possibility that people who have a negative, I think he called it, relationship with alcohol, would go and hoard alcohol. The research suggests that that is not the case, sir. What happens is there is an issue with alcohol, then that is an alcoholic who will buy more alcohol than there is availability. If you have shop hours extended for alcohol sales, they will actually go and buy more alcohol at the time. It's a strategic opportunity relationship they have with alcohol. Mr. Speaker, that was Helen White. I'd like to compare that to the lobbying efforts from the honourable member who's just resumed his seat, which amounted in my case to a PR, which said, a press release for those not in the political world, this will prevent the need to apply for a special licence and serve alcohol to veterans on Anzac Day services. That is to be endorsed and laudable. But it also goes on to say it removes any incentive to stockpile alcohol before Easter. So from the Labour Party benches, we've had two contradictory arguments put forward and then advanced once again by the honourable member who's resumed his seat. He said there is no good reason Mr. Speaker, the member had said there is no good reason to restrict people's choice over these days. Well, I agree entirely. It's funny that some restrictions that the honourable member thinks are worthwhile on New Zealanders' lives what has changed? Are worthwhile, but other restrictions aren't. And I agree with the honourable member that in this particular case, it makes no sense. The evidence doesn't work out. The theological argument the honourable member put forward doesn't mean that we need to be banning alcohol on the day. But we knew this already, didn't we, James Meagher? We knew this already, didn't we, Carl Bates? We knew this already, didn't we, Diane Bidwar? Members who went about this House lobbying on behalf of common sense changes to the rules so that New Zealanders can enjoy their Easter weekend in a way they see fit. The honourable member who's just resumed his seat, Mr. Speaker, I believe, voted down such a change. And so you have to wonder, when the honourable member says, why are we still got this situation? How could this possibly be? How has it taken so long? I guess it's just something we ended up with. Well, what we know, Mr. Speaker, those of us who have been in this House for more than a couple of months, is that an opportunity like this already did happen. There was an opportunity to make that change. Members across the House were given a conscience vote on the issue, and the honourable member, who's just resumed his seat, chose to vote against that change to Easter trading. It did. He, in his speech, Mr. Speaker, we have to give the honourable member his fair argument. He said it was to affect workers' rights and trading hours. But to then go on and say it makes no sense that you can't go to a shop and buy what you want, at the same time saying we're not going to allow shops to open, and then say it affects workers' rights because workers should have a day off, but then vote against a bill that gives every single worker the choice to have a day off, which doesn't currently exist. I mean, drinking is not working, I guess. This bill, Mr. Chair, goes further than my bill. Mr. Speaker, goes further than my bill, which would have not gone near Christmas or Anzac. And I think there is a fair argument about Anzac Day. Christmas Day, the honourable member also touched on, and I think he raises a point there. You know, there isn't a big cry in the community for trading and alcohol sales on Christmas Day. Look, if it's the will of the public and the House thinks that it's a good idea to open up the trade, the ACT Party supports opening up choice, and I think that that's something we should do. But I give kudos to the member for acknowledging that not all New Zealanders think that is a good idea, and I certainly experienced that in the lobbying that I did out in the community, in the businesses, in this House, talking to other members across the House to try and get some sanity to our laws. We did hear that Christmas is an issue. I guess the word bizarre, which the previous member used in his speech, the honourable member has used in his speech, does feel a bit how I feel right now. The bizarreness of hearing the honourable member who's just resumed his seat, to hear him say this, how has it got to this point? How has this sensible change not already been made? And then looking in the voting records and seeing certain members who are sitting on the opposition seats right now, a full list of names that voted no on a conscience issue to fix this very problem. It does feel bizarre, Mr. Chair. It does feel like the Twilight Zone. But look, in my final remaining 2 minutes, Mr. Chair, I won't delve into the historical sayings and happenings of the honourable member who's just resumed his seat. I would like to actually say what a good situation this will lead to for New Zealanders who want to choose how to spend their days. When they look at a rule put in by this House, it has to be backed up with evidence. It has to, if it relies on tradition, there has to be a solid grounding of tradition. If it relies on evidence to maintain a law, there should be solid evidence to maintain a law. And as the honourable member had put out, there just isn't that sort of evidence and tradition to maintain this. What we need to do, Mr. Speaker, is fix up the things that are getting in the way of New Zealanders' lives. Fix up the hurdles in every part, like this government does. Whenever we can find a problem, we get on and fixing it. And the honourable member has gone about finding a problem, sometimes, supporting certain elements of it, sometimes not. But he's taken this to the House. As the honourable member has said, it's been not a major issue. It's not one of the major things facing this country. But it is a small inconvenience in the lives of New Zealanders. It's something that Members' Day is designed to fix. And so I look forward to using my conscience vote to vote in favour of this bill brought by the honourable member.
Sounds very, very British. The honourable gentleman from across the aisle. The honourable gentleman, the honourable member from...
Hello there.
I think that was a troll. I'm pretty sure he was trolling Kieran by doing that.
Because he's honourable?
Yeah, I mean, there's a part of me that chat, don't hate me, but there's a part of me that finds Cameron endearing. Like he would be the kind of guy that'd actually be kind of fun to have a beer with. I don't know. I there's some parts of me that can relate with him, but I reckon him and Kieran should go to the pub together, because basically what Kieran did is say to Cameron, "Hold my beer." You know, I'm going to pass my bill.
Now, which pub should we go to? Should we go to one that's in Te Puke, or should we go to one that's in Masterton? Because one's in the list electorate that Cameron Luxton stood for, and the other one's in the list electorate where Kieran McAnulty stood for. Well, actually, Kieran's got a lot of pubs he can go to because he's got one of the largest general electorates in the North Island.
Yeah, I would say to both of them, just come to the Ekatahuna pub and I'll meet you there.
And if they're going to meet you there, I think I might sit there and drive over the Rumituckers and sit there and either have an orange juice or a raspberry lemonade. Nick, do you want the passenger seat for that one?
Oh yeah, I'd go over for that. Yeah,
I mean, you're a bit more of a more compatible option than say asking if Blake or Paul would like to sit there and come, because one would have to fly down, the other one would have to have a driver, Miss Daisy, to sit there and do the trip. And I'm not sure how Blake would like on the Rumituckers. He'll probably end up telling us in the comments how it's been going over it.
No, I've gone over for a beer with Kieran before, and it's worth the trip.
Yep.
Just put it like
I
that.
bet.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to